Assalamu alaikum. This is Pratusha Burwa welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Number of voters stands at 12,61,70,900. Election to be fair and law enforcers to receive training before polls to boost their morale, says Home Advisor. Agent Desk Service launched at Chattogram Port to turn activities automated and save time. Israeli forces killed 47, including 40 waiting for aid in attacks across Gaza. And Bangladesh Under-20 women's football team suffers 6-1 defeat against South Korea in AFC Asian Cup qualifier at Laos National Stadium. Viewers, those were the highlights and moving on to the details. The Election Commission has published a draft of the supplementary voter list across the country ahead of the 13th general elections. Briefing reporters in front of the Nirbachan Bhavan at Agargaon in the capital today, Election Commission Senior Secretary Akhtar Ahmed said as of June 30 in 2025, the total number of the country's voters list stood at 12,61,70,900. Out of those, 6,40,06,916 are male voters and 6,21,62,760 are female voters. He said, adding that the rate of the voter inclusion in 2025 is 3.69% and the rate of the increase of voters is 1.97%. The EC Secretary said on March 2nd last, the number of voters was 12,37,32,274. After that, information was collected by going door-to-door of the voters to register the excluded voters again, while 45,71,260 new voters have been included in the updated list, he said. During this time, Akhtar Ahmed said 21,32,590 voters have been excluded from the list as dead and erased voters. Noting that the supplementary draft voters list has been published in all offices of the Commission today, he said if anyone has any correction in this regard, he or she has been asked to inform the EC about it. EC will finalize the draft voter list on August 31. In addition, they will publish another list including those who will complete 18 years of age by October 31. This opportunity has been provided in the new law so that new voters do not have to wait for a year, the EC Senior Secretary said. He said the Commission will publish a total of 3 voter lists this year. After the publication of the voter list on March 2nd, he said, the voter list will be published on August 31 and October 31 next. The interim government plans to procure at least 40,000 body-worn cameras for police to enhance security at voting booths during the upcoming general election to be held in February next. The move was discussed at a high-level meeting at the State Guest House Jamuna in Dhaka on Saturday with Chief Advisor Professor Mahmoud Yunus in the chair. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Jahangir Alam Chaudhry and the Chief Advisor's Special Assistant Khuda Baksh Chaudhry and Faiz Taib Ahmed attended the meeting, said a press release issued by the Chief Advisor's press wing today. Faiz Taib Ahmed said the procurement process for the 1,000 body cameras, commonly known as body cams, was its final stage. He emphasized that the devices would strengthen security in thousands of vulnerable polling centers. He said the government is to procure the body cams by October so police officers can receive adequate training on their key features, including AI capabilities. Bangladesh authorities have approached 3 companies from Germany, China, and Thailand to supply the cameras. Police officers and constables will wear the devices on their chests while on election duty. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus instructed officials to expedite the procurement and ensure proper training for thousands of police personnel. He said the government must guarantee complete security at all police polling centers, no matter the cost. Our goal is to make the February election the most free, fair and peaceful in the country's history. During the meeting, the Chief Advisor's Special Assistant on Telecommunications and ICT Affairs also unveiled plans to launch an election app for the upcoming vote. The app will provide comprehensive information on the February election, including candidate details, updates on the voting booths, and interactive features for submitting complaints. The Chief Advisor urged officials to fast-track the app's launch and ensure it's user-friendly for the country's more than 100 million voters. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry said the charge sheet in journalist Asaduzzaman Tuhin murder case in Gazipur will be submitted at the quickest possible time. The government will do everything possible to ensure that the killers of journalist Asaduzzaman Tuhin receive the exemplary punishment. He said this to the journalist after coming out of the core committee meeting on law and order at the Home Ministry in Bangladesh Secretariat in the capital today. Regarding the recovery of firearms looted from the various police stations during the July uprising, the Home Advisor said a public notice will soon be issued and rewards will be announced for those who provide information on the weapons. The advisor said the election will be fair and law enforcers will receive training before the polls to boost their morale. An answer member equipped with firearm will be each of the presiding officers to ensure their security during the next general election, he added. Agent desk service activities have been started for post users at Jetty Gate No. 4 of Chattogram Port. Executive Chairman of Bangladesh Economic Zones Authority (BEJA) and Bangladesh Investment Development Authority (BIDA), Chaudhry Ashik Mahmud bin Harun inaugurated it today. Later exchanging views with journalists, he said, as a result, the port's activities will now be automated and it will save time. He said the port's capacity has increased by 30% after the Navy-run dry dock took over the responsibility of the operating entity. The Engineers Institution Bangladesh Chattogram Center provided financial assistance to the injured warriors in the July uprising and felicitated the children of engineers who obtained GPA 5 in the SSC and HSC examinations. A program was organized at the institution auditorium last night on this occasion. A documentary made on the July-August uprising was screened at the program. IEB Chattogram Center's Chairman Engineer Major Khurshid Alam presided over. Secretary Engineer Khan Muhammad Amnur Rahman moderated. The City Mayor Dr. Shahadat Hussain was the chief guest on the occasion. Engineers Association of Bangladesh Chattogram Chapter President Salim Muhammad Jain Alam, Chairman of Chattogram Development Authority Engineer Nurul Karim, Vice Chairman of IEB Engineer Khan Monjur Morshid, Member Secretary of Chattogram Press Club Jahidul Karim Kochi, President of Private Hospital and Diagnostic Owners Association Dr. A.K.M. Fazlul Haq, among others, were present in the program. Now, international news. Israeli forces killed at least 47 people in attacks across the Strip on Saturday, including 40 who were waiting for aid. At least 11 more Palestinians had starved to death in the previous 24 hours. The latest toll brings the total number of deaths from malnutrition to 212, including 98 children since the war began. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 61,369 Palestinians in Gaza and wounded 152,850. Meanwhile, a 15-year-old Palestinian boy has been crushed to death by a falling pallet during an airdrop of humanitarian aid in Gaza. As global condemnation grows of Israel's plan to take over the largest city in the war-torn enclave, where nearly 1 million people are sheltering. The latest death comes after the United Nations repeatedly warned that the airdrops are dangerous, inefficient and costly, and it called on Israel to allow a steady supply of humanitarian assistance into Gaza via land crossings instead. Russian President Vladimir Putin introduced a sweeping proposal for a ceasefire in Ukraine during a meeting with U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff, offering a halt in hostilities in exchange for Ukraine's eastern regions. Despite U.S. President Donald Trump's claim that the talks between Witkoff and Putin did not serve as a breakthrough in peace negotiations, the U.S. President announced on August 8 that he will meet Putin for his first in-person encounter on August 15 in Alaska. According to the Wall Street Journal, Putin's proposal contains two phases. The first phase would entail Ukrainian forces withdrawing from Donetsk, thus freezing the front line. The second phase would entail Trump and Putin agreeing to a final peace plan that would later be negotiated with President Volodymyr Zelensky. Amid reports of the proposal in recent days, the U.S. has publicly toyed with the prospects of the sweeping land. In exchange for peace, Trump told reporters on August 8 that a potential peace deal between Moscow and Kyiv would likely include some swapping of territories.